Andersen.
Alright guys, what is going on? Welcome back to the progress on the E420 and welcome back to channel Andersen. If you guys are with me for the reveal of this 1994 E420, then you know some familiarities of what's going on with it and what problems we have to fix. So that's what today's episode is about. Starting off, we are draining the coolant right now. Now last time I told you guys and showed you guys and let you guys listen, the engine has kind of a weird bearing noise from the front serpentine assembly. It's not there without the serpentine belt on, so I know it's something to do with that whole setup. But what it is, it's been hard to diagnose. I used a stethoscope, listened to the water pump, the pass-through, the smog pump, all of what, you know, the area that it's coming from. It was really hard to distinguish between the three, which one of those could be the culprit. The water pump does sound a bit noisy, but I want to try everything I can before changing that, because to get the water pump on these cars, which is new to me, you have to remove the crank pulley, and as you can see, it's a tight fit in there, and just doing that on the car isn't the most fun. It's doable, so if I have to do it and it is the water pump in fact, then we will do it. It's not that big a deal, but of course less is more, so trying to do work around that before tackling that job to see if we get lucky, and it is just, in this case, maybe it needs some fresh coolant to kind of loosen things up, rejuvenate the seals inside the pump, because the pump itself has no bearing play. The only thing that felt like somewhat of a smoking gun or something pointing to the water pump was A, the sound does kind of sound like it's coming from there, and B, it makes like kind of like a rubber ducky squeal noise when you're spinning the pulley by hand when the pump is hot. It doesn't do that when it's cold. It was only doing that when it's hot, and I don't have a great reference point as to like if that's normal or not. But searching around online, sometimes with that noise, if you get like a rubber noise when you're spinning the pump by hand, that can sometimes mean that the seals are worn out. So we'll see. I'm draining the coolant out of it now. The coolant looks fairly fresh, but it's definitely some generic coolant, which probably is okay, but we're gonna put in the correct blue coolant for it. While that's draining, we do have a new coolant reservoir. I think I'm gonna throw this in right now. What's kind of cool, kind of not, I knew this wasn't going to be exactly the right one, but it's a lot better than what the picture showed. This is for probably an M104 124 instead of the V8s. This is unique to the E420 and I believe the 500s. The shape of it, positioning of all the little outlets and stuff is different. This one on picture, it looked like it was going to be way different, but it ended up showing up very similar. So these two connection points should be no problem. This is a little bit different, pointing backwards on this one, but that's no big deal. And then our what's called bleed hose is basically in a different spot, but this hose has plenty of length on it, so we should be able to route it right along here, no problem. So I'm thinking about throwing this one in. It depends on how stubborn that one is right now, wanting to get out. And honestly, if I'm going to end up having to do the water pump, then I would just do this at that point. So I'm kind of just tempted to throw the coolant in it, see if we get any change and go from there, because we'll just do a flush again, I guess, if it doesn't change anything. Other things that I have fixed while I've been away from you guys, we did the cluster. That's why it's sitting out right now. I upgraded the odometer gears, which you can see some pictures here. All right, you guys, documenting for YouTube purposes for this refresh video. Shout out to Malloy Motorsport. You commented on the reveal video for this thing with our radio code. It is now working. Insert clip of Zeppelin playing. Meant to be. And we have our cluster out. If you don't know how to remove these, super easy. I just use my hands. Honestly, you can use the tools, but you can basically just grip real tight with your fingers on the sides and just kind of slowly work them out. Once you get it popped, then it's pretty easy. So I kind of use all my fingers on the edge of it right here and use my thumb as like leverage on this lower leather piece right there on the dash. So that's it. Bunch of connections on the backside. Got a rheostat over there, the yellow, white plastic. The black centerpiece is what we're going to be taking out to do our odometer gears. That's why we took it out. And then a bunch of other connections on this side. Kind of weird on these. Half of them, the light bulbs are, self-sufficient, and the other half are off of the wire harness over here. and we found definitely some treachery going on. The ASR and, or not ASR, sorry, the SRS and the ABS light were tied together. And it looks like I'm gonna have to be extracting our ABS light there, because it's not happy. Seen better days. So why they were jumping the ASR off, or sorry, the SRS off of the ABS, we'll find out, guys. We'll find out. Everything's fine. It's all gonna be okay. Let's get the mileage working. I also found out why the temp gauge was not working. It has some burnt pieces on the capacitor on the board, so I'll be looking out for a temp gauge. And I also found some MacGyvering. It looks like for some reason there's an SRS light or ABS light possibly, and they tried to jump two of the prongs on two of those light indicators. So we'll see if that is actually present or not. But yeah, aside from that, I cleaned the car up. It smells a lot better than it did before. I still haven't tackled the window regulator, and I went to do the brakes the other day and the wheels were absolutely stuck on with the wheel lug nuts, or lug bolts. So I got a breaker bar, I got those all loose. So now it's ready to do the brakes, but I'm too curious on this to not take care of this first. So let's see what we can do and hope for the best. Oh, and one other thing, I also got a kit, thank you to Scrapyard 400E Chris on 500E board. He helped me figure out what I need to do the smog pump delete, because this was one of the possible culprits when we were listening to the noise when it was cold and I fired it up and the belt was on. When that engaged or disengaged, I'm not really sure, the noise definitely changed, and it almost went away like entirely for a moment. So that's a possibility. And it's something that I wanted to do anyways. A mod that I wanted to do is figure out how to delete that, because I wanted to last time I owned this car and just wasn't able to. So we have everything en route to do that delete. And aside from that, right now I was feeling the tensioner, and the tensioner does feel a little bit worn out. So that could also cause some belt noise. So I may order a tensioner as well. But I think we're done draining here almost. Let this go for a little bit longer, try to get everything out that we can. I know it's not going to drain the block, there's actual block drains on these things, but we just need to get, you know, a good amount in here and try to get it flushed. All right, guys, went ahead and decided to do this. The temp sensor or level sensor, these things always break. So did not have luck with this one, and it's always one of the prongs is just gets corroded from a little bit of coolant leaking through. So we will do what we got to do right now to patch that. I should have bought a new one, but I don't have one for now, so we will just make do. And yeah, we're gonna have to remedy something for now. God damn. All right, you guys, well, a new one of these is only one day out, so I just bit the bullet. I will wait 24 hours to continue this problem, but I mean, in theory, we got everything we need. Just need this little sensor. No point throwing this dead one in there. And we'll continue on once we get that sorted. Sneak peek to some more pieces. We have our mirror caps. These have come a long way since I ordered mine years ago, because yeah, the ones that I got off eBay were not as good a quality, not even close to this. They had like all types of, you know, leftover rubber, and the fitment wasn't that great. These, just by looking at them off bat, are definitely a lot better, and I think will give us a better chance at a better fit. But we will see once I get these tested up, and at the same time we will paint our mirrors while they're off, because they've definitely seen better days as far as paint goes. But the rest of the car, I'm kind of leaving that for later projects. These, however, will be immediate. All these little spots, we will get to it. You guys know we did the test panel. I think I showed you guys that, where I basically just sanded it down with 1500 grit and then shot over it with the Brilliant Silver that I have. And I mean, you cannot even tell that it's a different color. and this is just a Chrysler Duplicolor spray can. So that's what I'm planning to do, at least on the roof. Try to blend this in, because this definitely was either repainted or I don't know, something changed out, so that doesn't match the rest of this. So I'll scuff this up. We'll paint basically the whole roof, and I'll leave the rest of the car probably until like spring, when we actually have like good consistent sunny weather that I can reliably paint a little bit outside. And I don't know, maybe if I get a hair, I'll pull it into the garage for winter and try something, but it's not really good to paint in cold temperatures like that. So the paint is the least of my worries with this thing. We're trying to get it running good, make it reliable for daily duties, and eventually start throwing on some aesthetic mods, wheels, maybe an AMG Gen 2 kit, and go from there. All right, guys, we're back, continuing on. We got a lovely day right now. This thing got the coolant all drained out of it. We've got a package here with a couple goodies in it, so I figured I would show you guys and get back onto this little project. Thank you, FSPO, for getting this stuff over. This is from Amazon, actually, but the rest of it, we got a new gas tank seal. This is the diesel part number. It's like the upgraded nice blue nitrile rubber. And then I just ordered some stuff to service the transmission, and a pulley that was supposed to be the right pulley for bypassing or deleting the smog pump, which we're going to do a separate video on later, but they sent the wrong one, so I got to email them and get refunded for that. But yeah, we got what we need as far as the coolant expansion tank, and let's get this in so we can try to fire this thing up with some fresh coolant in it, see if we got any changes. All right, guys, we are all installed with this thing. I had to do a little bit of trickery, like the prongs, or I guess receptors, terminal, something inside of the little plastic connector popped out. I had to kind of squeeze them back in, make it work. That should be okay. Bottom hose, perfect connection. This hose, I probably could have used a stock one, but it was a little short for my liking, so I ended up just putting my own HPS silicone hose on here. And then same thing up here, just connected it to the stock hose that feeds down to the outlet over there. Our radiator shroud is a little how you doing, so that's all right. But now go ahead and fill this thing up. We've got blue coolant, 0xG48 or SuperTech or the factory Mercedes blue coolants, all the same formula. So that's what we're gonna throw in it, and fingers crossed. Guys, I filled it up probably, I don't know, jug and a half. I try to just bleed them by, you know, burping the hose to start out with as much as I can, and then we'll obviously start it up, turn the heat on full blast, and let this thing kind of settle where it's going to, let it bleed out, and then we can put the cap on. All right, let's go ahead, fire this thing up. It's been probably a week. Turn that off. All right, and yeah, as presumed, SRS light, there's a reason they tried to jump that off the ABS. So why that is on, it could have been from the previous accident. It could have been because that exploded, which it looks like it's very possible that it did. So, I mean, no big deal to me, to be honest. These are very old safety features on the car, and that was kind of to be expected. So let's go ahead, turn this on full blast. It's a little squeaky when it first starts up. You know what, you guys? That noise sounds like it's coming from there. Let's see if it stops when the smog pump stops. All right, the smog pump just went off. I don't know if you guys can tell, but that sound that was right on here that was real bad is not there. And the sound I was hearing before up here, at least as of now, is not as present. We're back with the M119 and the E420 right now. You guys saw I tried to do the cooling expansion tank, hoping that new coolant, fresh coolant, would change up our bearing noise and what seemingly is our water pump, but it hasn't had really any effect. So we're gonna focus on another noise from the engine, which is the tick coming off of the driver's side. And I've used this stuff in the past. I actually used this on my last E420, if you guys remember, and it ended up doing the trick. So we're gonna throw this in, see if it does any changes. We'll basically pour it all in, put the car up to temperature, and then hold the revs like 2,500 or so for like 30 to 60 seconds at a time. And that should give it some allowance of getting in to some sticky lifters and seeing if it can cure it. I've been looking at what I need to do the crank pulley job in order to get the water pump off. That's going to be probably a inside the garage job, so we'll see, but it's looking like probably the inevitable thing. Also, this stuff is blue if you haven't seen it before, which makes me curious what the blue is exactly, because VR1 synthetic is also blue, and it's a very, very good oil. So it does make me curious. Do they have some similar component within both of these products? And a lot of people all over the map swear by Rizlone. I've used it my own, so I believe in it. And I've heard old timers, new timers, all different, you know, interests, car level wise, like different vehicles, different applications. I've never heard anything bad about it. So we'll give it a run here again. All right, here goes nothing. We'll have to let it warm up for a while, and we're gonna have to bear with the ugly noise of the water pump bearing or whatever that noise is, but that's okay. This thing fires right up every time, which is awesome. All right, smog pump just went off, you can hear. Crazy how loud that thing is, so. And honestly, guys, I don't hear our bearing noise at all pronounced like it was yesterday. That's kind of crazy. All right, you can hear the tick now. It's from right around here in the valve cover area. Let's give it some revs and see if we can get that thing to dissipate a little bit. Right now the car is cold, so I'm not gonna rev it up high. We'll just kind of help it warm up. Once it gets all the way warm, then I can take it to around 2 grand, 2,500. All right, and there is our weird bearing noise back again. So strange, guys. I don't know, when I stethoscope it, it sounds like it's coming from there, the loudest point, but it's just really hard to tell, honestly. It's amazing how smooth the M119 is, you guys. Even with our tick going on, our water pump possibly failing, this thing they just sit dead still. Like, it's just crazy. They just run incredibly smooth, just by nature, being dual overhead cams, well-balanced V8, great motors. All right, you guys, well, I decided against my earlier idea. I think I'm gonna just take this thing for a quick little walk around the neighborhood, nothing crazy. Just see if getting things actually at the temperature changes anything. And we can go from there. All right, well, when you're actually driving, you don't really hear much. But yeah, let's take it for a little cruise so we can at least verify our odometer is working, since I did do the gears in that. Oh, it's trying something. Okay, I see our trip gauge is working. See what our odometer is doing there. Oh, the brakes are so bad. Yeah, the suspension feels great, guys. Like, honestly, the overall car just feels like it's in really good shape as far as suspension goes. Yeah, the brakes are absolutely terrible. They're like grinding even just a tiny little stop like that. Should also probably check the power steering reservoir and see if that is full of fluid. I think I just checked it the other day and it did have fluid, but these things can leak pretty fast, and it looked like it was leaking from the main hoses on it. And I found a bottle of power steering fluid in the car, which I used to carry in mine as well until I replaced some of the hoses on it and the seals. But all right, our odometer is working. I just hit the kick down switch and that was working as well. Transmission did feel like it was kind of hesitating there for a little bit. Let's take it for one more little quick loop. These shifter bushings are definitely not happy. Ooh, yeah, I don't know. This trans, it did that before as well. I don't know if that's, oh, that's the bushings. Yeah, the bushings are so bad that when you put it into reverse from drive, it almost like doesn't want to go. I had to move it halfway between park and reverse to get it to actually go into reverse. So the shifter bushings are probably non-existent, which explains a lot. It's definitely stumbling right there. That could just be, that could be water on the caps. Yeah, she's not all the way happy, guys. All right, definitely breaking up a bit right there as it was just idling, which in all likelihood, our distributor caps probably have some moisture condensation in them, possibly even oil vapor if they've been leaking from the cam seals, which is a common thing. So that's probably our next thing we should look into on this. Pull everything off our front covers. Having these is amazing. These like to break. On my car, I never even ran them because they just wouldn't stay on. So pretty cool to have these in good shape actually on the car. Not these, but they're still functioning kind of, at least. We have pretty much a whole tune-up kit for this thing. I got spark plugs, I have air filters, and we can do everything we need to refresh our distributor caps. And if for some reason they're cracked or look damaged or anything like that, we can replace them. But yeah, I think we should take a look at those. All right, power steering was definitely a little bit low, by the way, so just filled that up. I use this in all the Benzes. It's great stuff. Lube guard. You can use pretty much anything in these old systems, though. I used on my old one, I think the Valvoline stop leak stuff. This one is definitely leaking, probably from the lines underneath. Doesn't look like it's leaking from the seals. My old one was. So yeah, we'll leave it for now. So that solves one problem temporarily. But let's go ahead and dive in to these distributor caps. All right, guys, pulling out distributor cap on the passenger side. These are all self-retaining bolts. They're 5 millimeters, and there's 3 of them. And from there, you can basically just pull these out of the way. And yes, we have lots of goop in here and corrosion on the points, which the corrosion, oddly enough, I mean, some say, I guess M119 people say it doesn't matter a whole lot, like on the points themselves. I always like to see them perfectly clean, but most M119 peoples say that it's more so the moisture, and specifically the oil vapor and water vapor that causes the issue. So, but these are definitely dirty, so I guarantee the car will run a whole lot happier getting these refreshed. So let's clean these up. We'll take a look at the actual rotor there and try to get that cleaned up a little bit. You want to be very gentle on these, brass brush or very, very fine grit sandpaper, like 1500, 3000, so you don't take off a bunch of material. But yeah, let's get these cleaned up. All right, guys, next day. Yesterday ran out of time a little bit, but I did finish up cleaning and kind of sanding off our points on our distributor caps on both sides. I didn't show you this one, but it was much of the same of what we saw on this one. Just used little wire brushes, some rubbing alcohol, clean them all up, reinstalled. So let's go ahead and fire this thing up, see if we notice anything different. All right, in and out of the car. Let's keep going. We've made some progress. Not exactly where we want to be yet, but making progress. All right, guys, smog pump is off. I mean, I don't know if you guys can tell over the video, it does seem like the noises are improving. Our tick is definitely still there. I'm kind of leaning towards that might be a capped oiler tube, just having it not change much. But our groaning noise on the water pump is definitely, seems like it's getting better, which is hopeful thinking, I know. And we'll see once we kind of drive it around here a bit again, once it's fully warmed up, if it's worse or the same. Typically it should be getting worse as it gets warmer, so I don't know, but let's take it for a quick cruise again, see if there's any improvement. All right, so I think the hesitation is gone that I was feeling yesterday, so I do think that was distributor caps. It was hard to tell like what that feeling was. Was it the trans shuddering, or was it, the motor kind of breaking up? It doesn't help that we're running on fumes right now as far as gas goes, but that was different than when I had test drove the car and drove it home initially. I didn't get any of that, so I was a bit hopeful that it just had to do with the distributor cap. So it looks like it's pulling fine now when I'm pushing on the gas. What I was experiencing yesterday is not the case anymore, which is good. But let's go ahead, try to do, there's some good acceleration right there, and no breaking up, no nothing, so that's good. That's an improvement. Obviously it's still all the way cold right now, as you can see on the temp gauge there. But I mean, she runs good. Well, let's let this thing warm up for a little bit, and then we can come out again once it's up to temp. You guys just got back to the crib. We are gonna replace our fuel tank cap seal real quick, because I was gonna fill it up with a little gas anyways. A little life hack for you guys. This is the seal off of the diesels. It's like a nitrile rubber instead of the regular rubber. These get super cracked over time, so nice little mod. And look at Mercedes, the quality stuff they used to give you. Nice metal oil cap to last forever. It was up to temp. It was definitely sounding better, but not getting too hopeful. So let's fill this up, take it out for a little cruise, and I will let you guys listen. Hey guys, nice fresh seal is in there. Filled it up with a little petrol. Let's take this thing out for another drive. Okay, here we go. Start number, who knows, 25 of the video. Yeah, shift's really good. Pulls nicely. Feels like an M119 should. 4.2 at least. Honestly, it's a better experience than my old E420, just because my old E420, when I got it, it had no first gear or no second gear. I can't remember. I think no first gear. No second gear. So it was lackluster. It would take off the line okay from first, but then it would go from first to third and just kind of lost all of its oomph. So the manual improved on that greatly. Okay, let's try to do a kick down. Let me get up one gear. All right, there we go. Let me try to do a kick down. There we go. All right, it definitely shifted early, which I'll have to, I don't remember what causes that, but I know that's a thing. If it won't let it go all the way in RPM. And maybe I'm just not keeping my foot all the way down. All right, our warbling bearing noise definitely still there, but I will say it is noticeably different and not at all as loud as it was. Our ticking is extremely loud over here. I don't know if we're gonna get lucky on that one, guys. I'm hearing a little bit of like squealing. You can basically hear our bad noises all the way from, like, I can hear it from the garage, and that's not a good sign. So, hey guys, well, it's wet, it's rainy. I've used this thing about 1,000 times trying to figure out and isolate this noise, but it's between the water pump and the pass-through. And if I'm going to be in there to do all this, oh, man, I don't know. I'm just going to have to pull it apart and suck it up and bite the bullet. Crank pulley's gonna have to come off. This is gonna be an in the garage job, probably from below to get the crank pulley off. You know, have some good room on the lift to do it, and we'll just do a couple while you're in there, as I guess. The crank seal, we'll do the water pump, we'll verify if the pass-through has any sort of bearing noise or issue, and if so, we will have to get a used part, because brand new, they're insanely expensive. That's the thing with getting a deal on a car like this, guys. I bought this thing for $1,800. I can't really justify sinking in, you know, $500, for instance, like that pass-through is $500 or $600 if you wanted to buy it brand new. It's not really justifiable to do that. So, yeah, we've made a few improvements, at least in this episode. We've tackled a few issues, renewed a few parts, got our odometer working now. We've got our fresh expansion tank, fresh coolant that will likely be coming out, but yeah, we've gone through a few things at least. So it's driving good, runs good, but obviously things left to do and things to discover still. I decided we're going to do a separate video for the brakes and lug stud upgrade and testing out our 5-spoke SL55 AMG wheels. We'll make that into its own thing, own video. And the other kind of things we need to dive into, like we're going to end up taking off the driver's side valve cover to diagnose if that is in fact a popped oiler tube or what could be going on there with the valves. We'll get into that, I guess. Maybe it just needs to be driven more, we'll see. But I feel like typically in the past when I've had sticky lifters or valves, I've gotten them to clear up doing what we just did. So probably something else going on in that situation. But yeah, I love this thing. It's been awesome so far. I'm glad we're making steady improvements on it, and we'll just keep going, keep turning the wrenches, keep making little by little progress. And yeah, if you guys got any questions, things you want to add on, ideas, thoughts about what we have going on with it, or what you think the noise is. If you agree with me, if you disagree with me, any ideas, feel free. I'm happy to hear about it. You know, we do have this thing sitting in the garage, like I told you guys in the first episode, and it just so happens to be a front sump motor like we would need to put in the car. But at the same time, the M119 has a special place in my heart. It's a great motor, and it would be kind of a shame to just throw it out into the woods. So I don't know. I have not made up my mind 100%, guys, on that front. It'd be really cool to do the 5-liter M119 swap and kind of complete that quest that I wanted to before. And I think we'd have a really special car with that, and a valuable car, because these, the 034s, the 036s, aka the 400Es, E420s, 500Es, E500s, they're not getting any cheaper anytime soon. And this is, you know, potentially a good, valuable asset for me to hang on to for a long time. That's not why I do these cars. It's not why I build the cars. It's not really what I have in mind when I buy them. But at the same time, you know, if you can be safe with your money that you put into the car, it's a nice feeling to know that if you ever had to let them go, you'd be in the green. So me having a family, having a basically business now, running all this stuff, I have to consider that when I'm doing everything with the cars. But yeah, I think I want to keep the M119. That's where my heart is kind of telling me, even though that would be amazing to put in. But I'm almost leaning towards putting that in the C55. And if I did put in the C55, I'd swap out the pans. And then at that point, we'd have the NA M113 that's in the C55. And maybe we could then think about putting into the 124. I don't know. These are all ideas circling around in my head. So that's it for now, guys. Hope you enjoyed. And let me know what you guys want to see next with this thing. So catch you on the next one. Peace.
Andersen.